Good evening, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's see. Let's get our comments up. Can't wait to talk with you all tonight. Got some fun stuff tonight. We're starting a whole new mini series right here on Wednesday Night Workshop. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Let me get the banner down. There we go. Don't forget to introduce yourself so we can say hello. I love to say hello to you all and see where y'all are watching from, because I know we get folks from all over the country, here in the US and all over the world. And I love that. I love knowing that I have quilting friends all over the world. That's so exciting to me. So let's see. Kathy's right here. Kathy's here and she's ready to go. Hi, Kathy. How are you tonight? From hot and humid North Carolina with a storm brewing. Girlfriend, we've been having the same thing. It's been storming all day. In fact, we're under a tornado watch right now. So if you lose my connection, it's because I've lost my connection. So I may have to try and pop back in or finish up in a video or something, just to give you all fair warning, because we have been having storms. But Kathy, I get the hot and humid. The last 3-4 mornings, I go out for my run and I'm dripping before I'm even at the mile mark, and I run 6 miles. It's hideous. And then I come home and I'm watering the garden, right? I come in and I can literally wring the water out of my clothing because it is so stinking humid. And now the rest of this week and into mid to late next week, high 90s with the heat index 105. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to stand there and pour, was it Sunday? Sunday we were out working in the garden. I was literally just pouring bottles of water over my head. It was so stinking hot and humid. It was horrible. So if you are experiencing this extra hot, humid weather wherever you are, please stay safe. Drink water. Don't drink sweet drinks. Those aren't good for you. Drink water. If you need something, even a little salt can help, because you're depleting salt from your body when you're sweating like that. So, but make sure and drink water. And we got our good friend Ruth here. Hi, Ruth. You found us all the way from Lake Stevens, Washington, one of my favorite places. Ruth, what's it like out in Washington right now? Are you guys you should still be getting rain. It's not the 4th of July yet, right? So, because in Seattle, the saying is summer starts on July 5th because it always rains on July 4th. I think the decades that we lived there, we never had a completely dry 4th of July. We just would always pray that by the time the sun went down and they started the fireworks, that it would be dry enough for us to see them, or the clouds will have moved by enough. Once it was so foggy when we still lived on Whidbey Island. It was so foggy. You could hear, you couldn't see anything. It was crazy. So, how's it doing out there in Washington, Ruth? I'm currently actually doing a class online out in the Skagit Valley. And I'm a little heartbroken that I'm not there in person, because I love it out there so much. A little gray, but there's also some blue skies. That sounds like about right for this time of year, right? A little on and off in the weather for sure. Starting to get there. Nothing more beautiful than August and September in Washington, though, I think. Beautiful. So how are you all this evening? I hope everybody's great. Please sign in if you're here with us, or introduce yourself. Love to say hello. Let me check my other one. I've got other comments coming up on the other side here. So it sounds like everybody's doing good. Oh, Kathy, you're here, my dear. I need to ask you a question. You can just answer in the comments. Did I send you your prize for question of the week last week? I still have, normally, once I finish, where is it? I've got it right. Yeah. So once I finish, I always write all my notes down beforehand. And once I finish, I put who won question of the week. And then the next morning when I send the prize in the email, I mark that off and I throw the list away. And I still have last week's list. And it could be because last week was a super crazy week for me. So, but if I have not sent your thing, let me know in the comments, Kathy, and I'll get that to you. Sorry about that. If that's the case too, I apologize. So yes, it's been nuts here, but I have some information, some interesting information to tell you guys here in a little bit. We may or may not go our whole hour tonight. I like to get you guys out of here. I sent it and you sent me a meme. I thought I showed the meme, Kathy. I thought this was, did you win 2 weeks in a row? I'm so crazy now. All right, if you think I sent it to you, then I won't worry about it, but it seemed to me like maybe I didn't. You sent me, did you send me a new meme? Because you sent me one and I thought I showed it. I don't know. I'm sorry. All right, but as long as you got your prize. We didn't meet last week. No, we did not meet last week because things happened. And we had to hit the road. So it was crazy. Hello, Sue. Hello, Sue, our good friend over in Indiana. Sue, are you guys getting this horrible rain yet? Storming here all day, girl, and it's coming your way if you haven't gotten it yet. In fact, we're still under a tornado warning until about 8 or 9 tonight, but it's supposed to rain until Friday. Yeah, the garden is going to be a big old soppy mess. Oh, well. Then I can just stay in and work on all my Build A Quilt stuff. In fact, I have put, because of what happened last week, I have put aside this whole weekend, since we're going to be in the hundreds, temperature wise. I put everything away, put everything aside, and I am working on nothing but Build A Quilt for us this weekend, which kind of, I guess the heat has made that a good thing, that I haven't gotten pulled in other directions, other work and stuff. Sue says, yes, it's storming. Yeah, stay safe. It was bad today. We've already gotten 2 to 4 inches of rain today. So stay safe. Go in the basement if you have one, if those sirens start going off. Crazy, crazy. All righty. Okay, so we're going to start something new tonight. But before we do, I've been telling you guys that I wanted to show you for our quilt along, our Reflections in Flight quilt along. I wanted to share with you some of my flying geese units. Now, I'm not giving you new instructions tonight. I'm giving you another week because I was thinking about it. Making 28 pieces, 14 more diamonds in a square and 14 more flying geese is a lot to do in a week. I realize that. So we're not gonna move on until next week. And then I'm gonna have layout information for you and stuff like that. I just figured that if I needed more time, you guys probably did too. So, and I do need a little bit more time, and I'm now marking on my hand. Crazy. All right. So anyway, I brought 14 or 15 or 16, I don't know how many, of my flying geese, and I thought I'd share them. So we're doing blues and greens, right? Now, remember, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. If you're new here tonight and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, we're doing a quilt along called Reflections in Flight. It's all about that lovely little segment piece called the Flying Geese Unit, which everybody loves so much. You do need the Build A Quilt combo set of segments in order to make it. Go back the last 3 or 4 lives on the YouTube channel, and that will catch you up. There's a little instruction sheet for the first week or so, because you can make it in 3 sizes, stuff like that. So that can catch you up. So I grabbed from my pile about, I don't know, I think I've got 15 or 16 of my flying geese units here that were sitting on the side. So I thought I would show you them. These are all fabrics from my stash. I bought no new fabrics because this quilt really lends itself nicely to the idea of a scrappy look. Okay. So, oh, no meme tonight because I got some other things to show you that we're going to be. Get ready. I'm giving you fair warning to be interactive. You're going to need to make some comments tonight, okay? So simple comments, all right? So get ready. That's why we don't have any memes tonight, because that's going to take us a little more time. So here we go. This is one of my greens. So I've chosen for my background to use that candlelit color. I'm using, I really had thought about maybe using a light blue, like a sky blue, but I decided to go ahead and use this because I have I have the most fabric of this. So that's green. Here's a kind of, I consider this actually more of a mid-tone green. I suppose you could think of it dark, but I consider, this is one of those bee cross stitch fabrics from Lori Holt. I love these fabrics because, so she's got the ones with the white background and the color cross stitches on them. But I like the color ones with the white cross stitches because then you're getting all that beautiful color, but you're getting that little bitty pattern on it, which gives you what? You got it, texture. It gives your fabric, your quilt, a little bit of a texture, a little bit of a not so flat of a look that solids will. Now, if you're someone who loves solids and you love a flatter look to your quilts, please, by all means, I am not saying that's wrong or bad or not pretty or anything like that, because solid color quilts are beautiful. For me, they're just not my thing. So when I do things where I would normally do a solid, I'll use a print like that. Very tiny, from a distance, you know, it reads just kind of solid, that kind of thing. You guys, a lot of you've heard me say that before. So, but that's a green there. Some of these, like, I think you guys have seen this one before. I think I've used that in another example before. I liked that one. Now here, this one, so summery, right? That sweet light green and those pretty little daisies. I love that fabric. I just got this. Actually, I got this on New Year's Day. We have one of the fabric shops a couple hours from here that I go to. It's the nearest one. They were having a big sale. Dave said, sure, let's drive over. And so I'm like, yes, I have a husband who will drive me to a fabric shop 2 hours away. And I got a red one with these little daisies and this one. I was looking for like any of this pattern on a different color background. And they had that light green. Isn't that pretty with the little tiny polka dot in there too? I love it. This just screams summer to me. And then this one, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, this is just green. And it is green, but doesn't it also look a little blue to you? What do you guys think? Could you do this as either a green or a blue? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about that. Because when I look at it, like when I just look at it under the light, this piece in here, definitely green. And these are green too, but they're almost like an aqua-y color. And so I know when I show it up, see, looking at it through the screen looks very blue. And that leads me to a tip tonight for you guys. That I was going to wait. Let's see. Do I want to share it later? Yes, I'm going to share. I have a tip for you guys tonight on giving you a different point of view about how your colors look together. It's something I've learned through some florist friends who do photography of their floristry stuff, right? Their arrangements and all. And when I was thinking about that, I thought, you know, this could really be true for quilting as well. So when we get into our newer section tonight, I'm going to share that with you. And maybe this then, I'm going to set that one aside because that could be a good example. So I know you guys have seen this one before in other ones, but I love it. I still had some of this. Love it. Tula pink, of course, or Tula green, right? I love that. I think, oh, I wish I had enough of this just to do a whole quilt in this. I love that fabric a lot. So let's see. We got some comments over here. Sue says, yes, it's stormy. Kathy says the daisy is lovely. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I love it. I think it's just that little sweet print, right? That could go for a baby quilt. It could go for a teen or a tween, a girl, or a young man who likes flowers. Who knows, right? I mean, it's just that kind of little flower that's so precious looking. I love it. Kathy says, yes, green or blue. Yeah, see, that one is really, it can go either way. But when you see it in natural light, it's definitely green. But on there, it certainly doesn't look like it. All right, and I know you've seen that one. That kind of lime green color with the little stars. And then I don't know if you've seen this one. I think I've used it. I like that one. That's another one of those prints that read as solids. And that's kind of how I've been going on my prints. I haven't used anything that is a huge print yet because I want it to really look either blue or green. I don't want a print to take over so much. There's my blue. Here's some of my blues. It's kind of a honeycomb. Isn't that kind of a cool look? I've got that in some other colors too. When I see fabrics like that, I always like if there is a color. So let's look at this one for a minute. If I see a print like this and I go, I love this print, and it's sitting there and it's like in 4 or 5 colors, like the one that I really love, I'll get like a yard or 2 of it. And the other ones that I think, wow, I love the print enough to know that I could use some of these other colors when I'm making quilts. So I'll get like a half a yard to a yard in a, maybe not all of them, but in a few of the other colors that I love. So I know I have this, I think I have this in a yellow, and I may have this in a pink too, like a hot pink, a really kind of a Tula pink, right? Now, this one is kind of like one that our friend Kathy showed us the last time we were together. Remember, I showed you her pictures, and she had some that the blue and the green were in the print, but the background was a lighter color. That's exactly what this is. The blue is the print, but the background of that is white, but I'm using it as a blue, one of my blue segment pieces. It works perfectly as a blue segment piece, and right in that area, wherever that's going to go, it's going to bring a little bit of brightness, a little bit of light to the quilt, because it's not so saturated with color, say, like our friend, the blue honeycomb is. Alrighty, this is, I don't know who does this, but I love this fabric. I've had this for a long time. I've done quilts with it. I still have some of it left, a little bit of it. And I love that. I love that color. I love the fabric. And this, the white in here goes really well in here. Sue says, love that light blue. This one, Sue, is that the one you're talking about, the light one? This is actually, I know where I got this. This was a fabric that was part of a collection that came in. You know how you can order the little subscription boxes from different places? Well, yes, she says, yes, this one there. I'm glad you like that one too. This was, so I'm going to make an admission here. I'm going to fess up. During COVID, I don't know, maybe I thought there was never going to be any fabric available ever again. But I ordered more fabric subscription boxes than I could count. After COVID, when I was going through like my storage and putting all those fabrics away, there must have been 24 to 30 boxes I got rid of, like the boxes when I put the fabrics away, the cardboard that I recycled. And it was all like these watery color prints like this. You probably would have liked them. So if you like this, they were all kind of like that. It was a really pretty set. But yeah, I just thought, were you guys like that during COVID? Was there something you thought, like, I did not stock up on toilet paper, didn't stock up on food, but my fabric, man, I stocked up on it big time. It was just goofy like that. It was like the one thing's like, if I can't do anything, well, one of the things is I made, during COVID, I made over like 9,000 to 10,000 masks. I made them for our local hospitals because I know, like, we know the head of one of the hospitals. He's in our theater group, just the greatest family. And so he called and said, hey, can you do that? Can you make those masks with the lining and stuff? I'm like, yes. So made tons. I made them for volunteers. I made them for local police departments, all of that, right? So there were some of us that had nothing better to do during COVID. We made masks, and I did. And so I kept thinking, I better order more fabric. What if I run? Because I just used all my stash. That's all I used. I didn't buy anything specifically for it because you couldn't get anything. And so, yeah, whenever there was a subscription box, Kimberbell would have one, or Fat Quarter Shop would have one. I'm like, yeah, I'll take 2 of them. I was crazy. Let's see what Sue says. See, Sue, my dear friend Sue, she admits it. Yes, she does that with fabric too. Thank you, Sue. Thanks for fessing up on that one. I know I wasn't the only one. So, okay, let's keep going. So this was that one. I love that fabric. And I don't honestly remember what that was from. That might have just been a fabric, like I bought a half yard of it and loved it. But I know I've made a quilt with it. Here's another one. This is a Kimberbell. And so I love this fabric. This fabric with the aqua background. I have wallpapered one of the walls here in the studio with it. But I love that blue, that kind of a royal blue with that white. It's so bright and crisp. It's another one of those, when you see it in there, it's going to add, like, even though that blue is kind of darker because it's that royal blue, it's going to add some light to the quilt. It's going to make it kind of shiny, I guess. And then I did, I was going to have to add something that was kind of an aqua to it. So I pulled this kind of a mottled aqua blue. I just had a little bit of it, but I had enough because the wings on the 5x10, you need a 7x7 square, and you cut it in half, and then you get the 2 wings. And so I had enough to do, I might have enough to do a couple of these. So all these fabrics, I have enough probably to do 1 more flying geese unit. So some of my flying geese units in this Reflections in Flight quilt are going to be repeat colors, and you can do that. You don't have to worry about them all being different. I have enough fabric, I could make them all different, but I kind of like to repeat a little bit here and there. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives your a little better flow sometimes, I think, to your quilts. So, and then if you like the little bitty daisies, you might like this one. I think this one's precious. It's kind of that, kind of a china blue a little bit, but look at those teeny tiny little daisies. So pretty. So that was one, and then one more. And this is kind of like this aqua, but it's more of a darker color. Now this I know is a Timeless Treasures. This is from the Timeless Treasures England something that's, it's several years old, like 6-7 years old, I think. But I still have quite a bit of that. I went crazy and bought that whole collection 3 times over. I think it was by accident. It was a story. Anyway, so those are about, what did I show you? 15 or 16 of my flying geese, and then I have some over there still. And next week I will show you some of the diamond in a squares that I've made. I didn't want to take too much time on it. So at this point, you should have 28 or be working on 28 of the flying geese units, or whatever it says for your size. And then 28, if you're making the big one, especially, and 28 of the diamond in the squares. But on that little download that you can get on the website that tells you what to make for which sizes, you should have whatever you did for the first week, you should have done the same thing again. Not necessarily the same fabrics, but the same quantity of flying geese units and diamonds in a square. Okay. All righty. So, and then next week we will move on with the quilt, and I'm going to give you some layout information next week. Okay. All righty. So I have a little story to tell you guys, and looks like we have enough time here. I have been working on a mini course for us. A little bit about color, a little bit about how color and how we can be inspired by different things for color, right? And I got a local professional who thought was professional going to help me with that, going to do some editing and things for me that I'm really not prepared to do. It would take me forever, because making a mini course is a very long-term, difficult project to do. It's not something you do overnight. And so I got a call Monday, or I called them Monday to see, because this information was supposed to be back to me last Friday and it wasn't yet, and we were gone and stuff. It's not done. Not only is it not done, she hadn't called me because she accidentally erased all of my film footage on the card that I gave her, the stick that I gave her. And somehow I thought I gave her a copy of everything, not the originals, but I can't find my copies either. So all gone, like 3 months worth of work gone. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about that, just that it's gone. So I've been thinking about what we could do. And I thought, well, what if we kind of do this as a small project-based thing here on Wednesday nights. So you're going to end up making a project, but it's going to be a small project. It won't be bigger than probably 15 by 15 inches, okay? So it'll be like a nice tabletop or a little wall hanging, something like that. But you will need the Build a Quilt basic sets. So let me tell you this right now, because I know that there are some of you that purchased when this set was 2 sets, when it was a basic set 1 and a basic set 2. So basic set 1 was this, basic set 2 was this. And I'm sorry, I may sneeze here. Give me just a second. Sorry. Oh, that was just a one sneeze. I've been having like 6 and 7 sneezes in a row. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this used to be 2 sets. And then I thought, you know what? It should just be 1 set. So I know there are a few of you out there that may own set 1, or sorry, set 1, or may own set 2, but you don't own the other one. So I am going to put this out there because I don't think it's fair for me to ask you to go back and rebuy the whole set when you already have half of it. Now, I know at the time I told you it was going to become 2 and get your other set and all of that, but I'm not like an I told you so person, right? So if you only own right now Build a Quilt Basic Set 1 or Build a Quilt Basic Set 2, so Basic 1, Basic 2, you are going to need the other set to do a lot of the projects we're doing going forward. That's another reason I put everything together. So you wouldn't have to keep going, oh, do I have it in this set? Where's it at? Do I have it in that set? So if you only have one of the sets and you email me at support@sewincommon.com, I will send you the other set for only an additional $15, which will basically mean you'll be paying what you pay for this as a full set, and you're going to get a little bit of a discount on it. I think that's only fair to offer that to those of you rather than making you go and buying the whole new set again. I hope those of you that own one or the other of the sets find that to be a fair compromise. So email me. Tell me which one you do not have. So just say basic combo set in the title, and then say, hi, Diana, or hey, Diana, or hey, you, or whatever. And then say, I already own basic set 1, or I already own basic set 2. I need to purchase the other one. Okay. I will send you an invoice that you can pay. And once you pay it, I will send you the other set. All right. So that you technically will have everything that is in this set. All right. So I hope you find that to be a fair scenario, because you kind of need both of them now, right? And for this little project, you're going to end up needing both sets. So we are starting a little. Did you notice the thing? And I even put a little short video out today called Let Nature Inspire. So, you know, earlier in the year when we did our easiest quilt along ever, we used the Sarah Renee Clark color cards, right? You know what I'm talking about. Ugh. The big blocks. Still, guys, there's information in the description below if you're looking for these. It is an affiliate link. I appreciate it if you buy from that link. But they're so great. It shows you all the colors. But what I've always loved about these cards is the fact that they show you, here's a pretty one. They show you a picture from nature. I love that she does that, right? And we did all of those. In fact, I'm still working on finishing up that quilt so we can do a finished quilting video on that for you. So I love that she shows that picture of nature. And it's that time of year where I love being in the garden. I've got the greenhouse going, trying to keep everything from frying in this 100-degree weather. But there is a magazine that I like. they don't know anything about me, so they're not sponsoring this. It's called In Her Garden. Look at that picture. Is that not the most stinking gorgeous picture of flowers? I love those because I love those colors. Oh, I just think it's gorgeous. But I was working on some stuff, and while the machine was like stitching out today, I was just or not today, the other day, I was looking at this and I was thinking, what if I found a picture in here that was a pretty picture of something from nature? Because the original mini series was going to be about letting things in nature inspire your color for your quilts, whether you're designing a quilt or just picking fabric for a quilt pattern that you own. Let nature inspire you on what colors to put together, because Mother Nature gets it right every time, pretty much, right? Even a dark, cloudy, nasty day, the colors all kind of go well together for that color palette. So when I was looking at this the other day, thinking about the fact that I had none of the film anymore that I had made and none of the stuff that I had made, I thought, and I don't have anything blooming in my garden, so I couldn't bring in a picture right now. I have a few little things blooming, but like the dahlias, things aren't blooming yet. So I was looking in this magazine and I saw this picture. Look at all those colors in there. There's like a couple dozen colors in there. They're beautiful. So I thought, flowers. Flowers are the perfect thing to look at in nature if you want to put colors together. Their outer petals could be different color than their inner petals. From their center, they have a stem. Sometimes the stem is a different color than the leaves. So here we go. I have a picture that I'm going to pop up. It is of flowers, right? It's from this magazine. I give them all the credit. I don't have anything to do with this. I want you to tell me in the comments. I don't want you to in fact, I'm just going to flash it up and take it down. I want you to put in the comments the very first color that you see. Are you ready? Get your fingers ready to type. Here we go. Ready? Here it is. Flowers, beautiful flowers. What was the first color you saw? I'm going to take it down. Put the color in the comments. What did you see first? I'd love to know what you saw first. What grabbed your eye first? And then we're going to go back and look at it. Kathy says she saw yellow first. Oh, I can see that for sure. Yep. Give the rest of you some time to answer. Definitely there's yellow in that picture, Kathy. Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up now. Let's look at this. Ruth says she saw purple. There's definitely purple in there, Ruth. There sure is. So let's look at this picture in a little more detail. This is a bunch of different flowers that are in the garden, probably of somebody in this article that she's writing about. Oh, it's called A Designer's Garden. Okay, cool. But look at each individual flower. I don't see any of these flowers that are just one color, right? So there's lots of yellows in here. Keep answering what you saw. I'd love to know what you saw. But let's look at this yellow one right in the center there. This outside, a very light lemony butter yellow. But as you go into the center, now it's a little hard to tell from just this flat picture, but it could be more of an orangey yellow. It could even in the very center be more of a brown color. Well, light yellow, orangey yellow, brown, that's 3 colors right there. And if you think that's a beautiful flower, you've just got 3 colors that are going to look beautiful together in your quilt. So let's look at some of these others. Let's look at these. We've got darker pinks, almost reds, lighter pinks, greens. So again, 3 colors. Let's look at this white one. You've got the white on the outside. You've got a yellow on the inside, and even just a tiny bit of green around that center yellow. So flowers can certainly inspire us for what colors to be put together. Kind of like those color cards. Nature can do that. I remember a very long time ago, I took a jewelry making class because, I didn't have anything better to do than be getting a PhD at the time. So I needed something other than research to fill my brain. So I took a jewelry making class, and we were talking about like glass beads and stuff. And I remember the teacher telling us, go pick out 3 things from nature in your garden and bring them in, and we're going to make those into your bead colors. And it just so happened that those 3 things for everybody like really went together beautiful. They made a beautiful palette because nature gets it right. And the one I'm looking at right here is this one. It's white, but I can't even tell in here. Is it got like a black dot in it, or a dark purple, or a dark blue in the center? Like, that's crazy gorgeous. But boy, that could be a quilt, right? It sure could. Or any of these in combination could be a quilt. This darker kind of maroon with maybe this, or maybe some of the more purpley violet colors, maybe the yellows. Any of those together are going to give you a gorgeous quilt, okay? But that's what nature can do. It can give you everything you need all at once. So I have another picture to show you. Let me bring that up because it is going to be our inspiration for this new little project we're going to do. It's this one right here. It's this, isn't that arrangement beautiful? Gorgeous. Now, you all know that sometimes I get caught up in a very specific color palette. Like over in here, those are my colors, right? This one happens to be different, believe it or not. Those are my colors. You guys know the colors I love. I'm always showing you those and telling you about them. And you might have a color palette that you love as well, right? So we've talked about that. Kathy says she sees orange. Yes, absolutely, Kathy. There's definitely orange in there. And so I thought, you know what? What about using flowers from the garden or flowers in nature as maybe you're walking through the neighborhood at night after dinner, you're taking a little stroll and your neighbor has a beautiful flower garden. What about looking at those flowers, maybe surreptitiously snapping a little photograph with your camera and using those colors to inspire and inform your next quilt? So when I was looking at this magazine, this picture was in here. It's part of this article. If you have this magazine, it is their summer, June, July, August edition. I get mine at the local Barnes and Noble. Yeah, we have no fabric stores, but we have a Barnes and Noble, for which I'm thankful. It's this summer's edition, In Her Garden. That's the name of the magazine. It's on page 96. I haven't even read the article. It was just the picture. But I thought, I would never have thought about putting all of those colors together. There are some colors in there that I really like the peachy pinks, these kind of salmony colors, those yellows. I love those. But when I was thinking about that too, I thought about, I am finishing up the quilt along, the exclusive quilt along for the Quilt Lab folks, which we will now be doing in July. I couldn't make up my mind between June and July, but it will be in July that we'll start it. And you'll be getting information on that in a couple of weeks. But I've been looking at color combinations to do the sample in that aren't my typical colors. And when I saw this, I thought, gosh, that would make a beautiful summer quilt, because you could do it in light color, the lighter colors, or the deeper colors, or a combination of both. So if you're someone that's like, no, I'm a total pastel, I don't like those bright colors, you wouldn't do the brighter ones. You do the softer, light salmon, the white, the lighter yellow versus this more orangey yellow, one of the whites, one of the lighter greens, all of that. So this is what I did. Let's take that down. I went over to the stash and I started just pulling fabrics. Now, I wouldn't use these fabrics together because they're all kind of hodgepodge. I wouldn't probably use this. It's the design, not the color. The color would be okay, but I wouldn't use this design with that design probably. But what I did is I went and I chose fabrics based on that photo. So I've got a mid-tone salmon. that really light peachy, pinky salmon. And for the white, I chose, again, see, I could have just chose like this color, right? That candlelit that I love, which is kind of the background here. But this has that really light and a medium and even kind of a darker burgundy in it and different greens. So for a white, I could use this and it would blend in with all of this really well. I chose a couple of fabrics that had that burgundy in it. Now this is definitely that darker burgundy, but if you wanted just a pop of the burgundy, that would be better in that case, right? Because it's got the peachy pink background and the burgundy, little burgundy flowers. So in the picture, let me bring it back up again. Oh, I took it off of here. Hang on. Let me, I cropped the picture down a little bit so you could just see the flowers. But in the magazine, it has this brown wooden shelf on it. So I even chose a fabric that kind of went with that, because that shelf looks really good with all of those colors. I mean, that arrangement looks beautiful on it. So I even chose something that I could put there. I chose one of those lemony, yellowy greens because some of the foliage looked like that. I chose 3 different yellows, a very soft, buttery lemon yellow, kind of a mid-tone yellow, and I chose this kind of a brighter orangey yellow. Okay. Then I chose another green for foliage from the photo. This is definitely different than that, see? But both of those colors are in that picture. So even though if I put them right together, I might go, I don't know if I'd put those together. They're both in that picture and they look great. So I wouldn't have a problem doing that. And then I chose this one. And I have so much of this one. I thought, oh, this could even be a good backing because it's got lots of those colors in it, right? So that's a lot of fabric that I picked. But I tried to pick something that would be an example, let's bring this back up, of all the colors that are in there. Now, I could have added in like a really dark brown, like a dark chocolate brown for this vessel that the arrangement's in, or a black. So, I mean, it could kind of go either way, I think. This is kind of a really, whoops, right down here, a really deep green or a brownish color. I could have added some more brown in. But I tried to get a sampling of everything. Now that ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fabrics. Personally, for me, I think 11 fabrics is too much for one quilt. But I always like to use odd number fabrics. So 3, 5, 7. Odd numbers just for whatever reason. I know there's some scientific reason, which I am not quite sure I can explain. The eye likes odd numbers in art. Okay. Kind of almost even how this arrangement is. See how it's not perfectly symmetrical, which the eye really loves symmetry, but it also really likes asymmetry in things like flowers, right? So that's what this definitely meets that. So I would probably, of all 11 of these fabrics, I'd probably choose 5 fabrics that I would make a quilt out of based on that picture. And when that quilt is done, it'll be stunning because I think that's stunning. Now, you might go, you know what? I don't really like those flowers. I don't know, many people would say those are ugly flowers. They're pretty dang pretty, but you might say those aren't my thing. They're not normally my thing either, but I would make a quilt and I would try to expand my horizons in how I choose color. Or maybe if you were looking around and maybe you have a magazine at home, maybe you have a gardening magazine or some magazine that you like, and you're looking through it and you see color combinations, choose one you like. So maybe those, you didn't like those, but what about those? Whoops, let's see. Can I get that in there? There we go. So there are tons of colors in there. There's very light green. There's white. There's a super light pink. There's a medium pink. There's a deep burgundy. There's a very dark green. There's a little bit of gray in there. So that might be a color palette that you like a little better. But maybe you're like, I don't know, how would I put those together? Pick those colors out, put them together, 3, 5 of them. 5 is a really nice number when designing with fabrics for a quilt. I think it gives you just the right amount of color. I always like to choose something solid, a very small print, a light color, a medium color, a dark color, and even maybe a bold print if you want. But when you're looking, there's so many things that can tell you. So let's look at this photograph. That almost looks like the colors I have in that square there, right? Those oranges and greens and grays and beiges. Maybe that's your thing. So maybe knowing what you like in color isn't a problem, but how to use those colors together is where you think you have a problem, because I am convinced that you can put color together and you do it every day. But I feel like for some reason, a lot of us don't have confidence in putting our colors together. So use tools. Use the tools to help you. Use the color cube. Use magazine pictures. Go out in the garden. Whatever it takes to get you to go and grab that fabric and make that quilt, right? You are a quilter. You love quilting. Don't let the idea of feeling afraid of color keep you from doing it. If you really only like light colors, I know those of us that like really deep, darker, bright colors are kind of far and few between. We're a little bit wacko that way, those of us that like those colors, but that's okay. It's okay to be wacko. But there are a lot of folks, maybe because they don't have a lot of confidence in color, or they just like light colors. There's nothing wrong with light colors. I think they're beautiful. Choose, if these pictures are in, let's take this cover, the darker versions, choose lighter versions. You know that every color has at least a light, medium, and a dark tone to it. So choose a lighter version if that's what you really love. It'll be fine. It'll be beautiful. I promise you it'll be beautiful. So our next few weeks, we are going to take an inspiration picture. I am going to give you a color list from the picture, and we're going to go out and choose our fabrics. And then I'm going to give you the block design that we are going to make from the Build a Quilt Basics. And we are going to make a little nature inspired wall or table topper or wall hanging. Are you guys with me on this? Does this sound fun? Does this sound like something you would like to do? You might even get to see my garden, because I might do a little footage out there to kind of show you kind of what if your garden is only green right now. And there's lots of stuff in my garden right now that's only green, although I've picked some really yummy looking strawberries the last couple days. So I might show you, what would you do if you only had one color to choose, a monochromatic color to choose? Not a problem, not a problem at all. So next week, we're going to talk about the color list, and I'm going to give you the block, and we'll move forward with the pattern. And we're going to make a little nature inspired color wall hanging, tabletop, or whatever you want to use for it. Can I get a thumbs up? Is that something you guys like? This was going to be a much longer, much more involved class, but I think that given that we're in the summer and all, and I've been so inspired by the pictures in these magazines, I think that doing it on Wednesday night will be a lot of fun. More people will probably be involved, I'm thinking. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Please let me know. Now, I told you that when we got to this point, I had a tip for you about how to look at things. So if you guys like check out the Instagram and stuff like that, you see I do photographs out there. I've taken photography classes ages and ages and ages ago in high school, because I did high school yearbook, right? So I got to take the class to learn how to use the brand new 35 millimeter camera that we had purchased back when we used film. So you guys know how long ago that was, right? Yeah. Film, what's film? Yeah, well, look it up, I guess. Look up the definition of camera film if you don't know. I'm not the world's best picture taker. I try. I'm trying to do better with my photography. But there's something I learned from someone who does her own photography for her florist business. And it's true for quilting as well. You're kind of doing it right now and you don't even know it. Ruth gives a thumbs up. Ruth, good. And thank you, Ruth. Thanks for participating and saying that you think this is a fun idea. I'm so glad that at least somebody does. Thank you so much. All right, let's pull this up. You're doing it right now and you don't know it. When I look here, we're going to go back to my little flying geese unit here. When I look at this, just my eye to this fabric, there's no way I would call it anything but green. But when I show it to you through a camera lens, we all kind of think maybe green, maybe blue, maybe a little bit of both. There's something about the camera lens. So you're doing it when like you see these pictures. Now I intentionally wore just a light chambray blue blouse tonight so that there wasn't a lot of color blocking stuff around. But when you're looking at those, you might think you're looking at something that's one color and it might be a little bit different to the eye. Like to me, in the screen, this looks very kind of light dark, but light. In fact, that print is this print in a different color. I told you I had a lot of them. So it looks a little bit lighter. This looks super light, super light yellow, right? This is really kind of a mid-tone yellow. This is very deep and dark like that is, except in the aqua range. But there's something about the camera lens, and probably the lighting in the room works with that as well, that changes it to the eye. Now, is that a good thing, a bad thing? Does it make a difference? Maybe not. Maybe not with quilting. If you're going to photograph your quilts and post them and you want people to know what the colors actually are, then it could make a difference. But here's the reason. Is that when you see your quilt through a lens of a camera, so even through the lens of the camera of your phone or an actual camera, you're going to see it differently. So what looks good to you maybe in the 3D world where I'm sitting right here, I'm 3D to myself, right? Might look different in the 2D world because of this camera lens. And it can help you find places where things aren't quite melding together the way you want them to. Okay, this is another tool, another trick kind of to help you with color. So you might have, let's see, do I have anything? Okay, let's hold up this color. This color has yellow in it. It's this right here, this little bud. But it really kind of looks like it could be green. Like it could be like that green, just little bits of that green, but it's yellow. It's not that yellow. It's actually this really dark yellow. Now, this looks light yellow in this screen. It's dark yellow here. But when I put them together, I might find that when they're together, they work or they don't work. So it might help me to, so I might have put these right next to each other and realized that maybe I should have put those together. Use that lens, that kind of a, for lack of a better word, kind of a funky filter that you're getting going on to help you find places where things might not work together to their best advantage. And you'll see it. Your eye will see it. Your eye will always go to either something that's really flashed out there or something that is very dark and withdrawn. So when you just look at your quilt, you might not see that there's like a really dark place in the quilt, but the lens of a camera might help you see it better. So my suggestion is when you're trying to put your colors together, get your cell phone out or your camera out if you still have one, and just look at it through the lens and see if you see anything different. See if anything you think needs to be adjusted with where you're placing your color. I think it might help. I started doing that, and I really was finding places. Sometimes you get a gut feeling that says, there's something here that's not right. They shouldn't be together. And when I looked through my camera, I thought, wow, that really doesn't work well together. I knew it instinctually, but I couldn't tell until I looked at it through a camera. Okay. So that's your pro tip. And it did come from a pro, but I wasn't the pro. That comes from a professional photographer. So I hope that is helpful for you. All right, guys, we're almost done. We did go all the way. Kathy says, sounds fun. Great, Kathy. I'm glad you think so too. Thank you so much. So here is our question of the week. What is your favorite season of the year? Let me know in the comments, because that is going to help inform me about what's going to come in this little project, because I might do like a couple of color palettes. We'll see. So what is your favorite season? Let me know in the comments, and then we'll spin for a winner. The winner will get a $5 gift certificate to the website. I'll send that to you tomorrow. I'll tell you how you can get me your information, all of that. So, Ohio Mom. Hi, Bonnie. How are you, dear? So nice to have you with us tonight. She says springtime, which it is still officially spring until Friday. So enjoy the last couple of days of spring, Bonnie. It is like blazing surface of the sun hot here. So I'm like already over that. But Ruth says summer. Sue says, bye, everybody, and winter. Sue, I'm with you. I'm a total winter girl. I love it, too. Bye, Sue. Thank you so much. I'll let you know if you win, okay, when I roll the thing here. Great. So we have no autumns yet. That's interesting. Autumn is my second favorite season. Autumn is a time of year where I feel the most relaxed, even though like you're getting ready for the holidays and things like that. I feel the most relaxed. I feel like all cuddly. I don't know. I'm wacko, right? I love it. I love, but winter is winter colors, icy coldness, snow, and we don't get snow in Illinois anymore. It makes me so mad. All righty. So winter, summer, spring, and winter, summer, spring. Kathy, do you have an answer, dear? Do you have an answer? I don't think I see one from you yet. What's your favorite season? Somebody's going to be a wise guy and say all four, which is perfectly fine. I will say, since I started gardening, when I started gardening, I started being able to appreciate summer more, because that's when like everything goes. My tomatoes, oh gosh, you guys, that should be my picture that I should do a little film and show you guys. My plants are full of tomatoes. I mean, full of them. And from like wee little ones into big ones already. They're going crazy. All right, I'm going to spin. I can't look because you guys know I'll get vertigo and I'll get sick. You just don't want to see me throw up on screen, right? And our winner is Ruth Amdahl. Ruth, congratulations, dear. Go ahead and send me your email address, ruth@support@sewuncommon.com. I think you've won before, Ruth. Just say Wednesday winner in the tagline and say hi if you want to in the body. I don't care what you say in the body. Just be nice. And I will send you your prize. Okay, support@sewuncommon.com. Spring, except for allergies. Yeah, I get them really badly too, Kathy. Really, I mean, Dave and I both still have them. Part of what made us both really sick was the cottonwoods. Me, him, my vocal coach for theater, and some other people. We were all had like respiratory viruses from it. It was so bad this year. Bonnie says, congrats, Ruth. Yes, congratulations, Ruth. Thank you all for playing our game. I can't wait to see you next week. And I will just forget this thing that has happened that ruined my first mini series, my mini course. But we're still going to have a mini course. It's just I have to restart my filming and all for the other one that I want to do for us this year. But, you know, sometimes things happen. You just got to roll with it, right? So next weekend, we'll talk about layout and some more on our reflections in flight. And we will start our Let Nature Inspire mini project. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. You know, I love being here with you guys on Wednesday night. I hate we've been a little skippy lately, and that's totally me. We've had some craziness going on. But I'm so glad to be with you guys. You literally, Wednesday night makes my week. So it's a little harder in the summer since I've had to take on new work and stuff. It's been a little difficult, but I appreciate you all so much. And I can't wait to do this project with you. If you are a Quilt Lab subscriber, your new mini quilt pattern is up on the members only area. Yes, spring, except for allergies. Yes, I agree, Kathy. All right. So if you need to contact me, support@sewincommon.com. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Our website, www.mybuildaquilt.com. That's where you can find the Build a Quilt Basics combo set, our other patterns, our blog, all of that. Let me repeat again. If you were someone with us in the first 2 years when the combo set was actually 2 separate sets, a basic set 1 and a basic set 2, let me know in an email at support@sewincommon.com. I can tell me what you have, what you don't have, like which set you have and which set you don't have. And I can send you an invoice to pay $15. That's all. And I will send you the second set. So you will be basically having both sets as if it were the full set on sale. So you're getting a little bit of a sale there. And that was the only way I could think of to be as fair as possible, so that you didn't, those of you that only ever bought the first or second set, didn't have to go in and rebuy the whole set and then have one half of it twice. Okay. So I hope that's amiable for you all, and just send me that email and we can work that out, because you will need both sets to do our projects. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Whoops. Until next time, everybody. Go quilt life beautiful. See you next week. Go look in the garden. Go look outside. Find something in nature. Bring some ideas with you next week. We can even talk about like things that you found. Send me pictures of the things you find in the garden. We can talk about those next week too. Bye-bye, everybody.